वेङ्कटेश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahants, Mahants, Tanedar Kotari, owners of Sarvanya Pida, visitors, viewers through Nityananda TV, two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha, cities sitting with us in two-way video conferencing, Toronto Adinam, Kuala Lumpur Adinam, Ohio Adinam, Shivananda, Mukta, Phoenix Adinam, Toronto Adinam, Guadalupe Adinam, Los Angeles Adinam, Indrani, New Jersey, Singapore Adinam, Warrington, UK, Trinidad, Tobago, Houston Adinam, Dakota Dunes, Hyderabad Gupta Kashi and Hyderabad Adinam, and some more cities are joining. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I'll enter into Upanishads. Today, I'll expand on the 16th verse of Isavasya Upanishad. Understand, Mahadeva's silence is Upanishads. His words are Agamas. When he breathed in silence, what reverberated in the inner space of the rishis is Upanishads. When he opened his mouth, started explaining, that became Agama. Now, you are going to listen Veda Agama. He is going to explain what he meant by his breath, what he wanted to convey, what way he wanted the inner space of the rishis reverberate. This commentary, or I should say the repetition, should be called as Shuddhadvaita Saiva Deepika. From the context of Shuddhadvaita Saiva, let Upanishads become alive in all of you, in all of us, experientially. So I'll recite the mantras. Please repeat along with me. Then I'll read out the translation and let Mahadeva expand on it. Pushanne Garshe Yamasurya Prajabatya Vyuharashmin Samuha Tejo Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Datte Pashyami Yo Vasau Purusha Sohamasmi Yo Savasau Purushaha Sohamasmi Listen, I'll read out the exact literal translation and then reveal the sacred secrets. The literal translation is, O Pushan, consciousness, who is the nourisher, sustainer of all, the primeval solitary traveler, the disciplining principle of all, is like the bright effulgent sun and is the Lord of entire creation, which is his subject. Please remove all your rays of this radiating, brilliant golden light which had blinded me, so that by your grace I can have the divine vision of that most auspicious, graceful, beautiful form of yours. That which is there, the glorious sun, is the mirror of the Supreme Being, who is all-pervading, pure consciousness of the cosmos. Indeed, I am He. I don't know whether when I am talking about some sacred secrets, coincidentally exactly those mantras appear, or when those mantras appear, I talk exactly about that subject. When I read out the translation, I feel this is the grand narrative of Hinduism. This is the grand narrative of Hinduism. Sohamasmi. The lofty height of Shuddha Advaita and the grounded reality of Agama. Listen. The biggest problem with incomplete mind is whenever it develops wings, it tries to destroy the root, go against the root. That is why sometimes you even believe if you go against the root, that is what is developing wings. Just say no to your parents, you have grown up. Many of the kids, just to establish, hey, now I am a big boy, let me say no to father, whatever he says. By the time you understand whatever your father says is right, you have a son who says whatever you say is wrong. By the time you have a father, by the time you understand whatever your father is saying is right, you have a son who says whatever you say is wrong. Please understand, many times you think the moment you have wings, you should forget roots. And if you have roots, it is against the wings. Incompletion exists in you as the fight between root and wings. Constantly you are trying to choose. Should I choose root or should I choose wings? Should I choose wings? Should I choose roots? Upanishad or Agama? Agama or Upanishad? In the modern day, whether traditional lifestyle or the so-called modern lifestyle, you think modern lifestyle is wings and traditional lifestyle is root? Understand, as long as the incompletion exists in you, as long as small way of thinking exists in you, I've seen the people who think in a small way are the most dangerous people. Understand? The moment they don't like you, they start hating you. They can't be just, okay, I don't have love, but that does not mean I have to hate. They do not settle down in that space. If they don't become lion straight, they become fox. Wolf, not even fox. Please understand. All confusion is only for small minds. Small minds which cannot look at the reality. I tell you one thing. From my own experience, if I have to give the essence of whatever I learnt from Arunagiri Yogeshwara, the essence is this: the more your mind raises, the more you will see everything in the form of solution. You will see everything is properly moving as it is supposed to be. The questions, doubt, everything will disappear. When your mind is becoming smaller and smaller, you will have more and more stupid questions. You will have more and more confusions and complications. Even if the solution is given, you will not be able to imbibe it, incorporate it, make it as part of you. You will continue to suffer with the same question like a rat. Understand? If you are finding the same solution for the same problem few hundred times in your life, you have small mind. That's the definition. If you are finding the more and more zigzag puzzles falling in place, the paradoxes, more and more paradoxes are falling in place, more and more the paradoxes settling in place, then you are expanding, you are growing. Please understand. You only need to choose between small mind and larger vision. You don't have to choose between modern life and traditional life. You don't have to choose between Upanishad and Agama. You don't have to choose between roots and wings. No! You only need to choose between small mind and larger vision. I tell you, it's all about whether you have a small mind which can find problem for every solution, larger vision which can find solution for every problem. The moment I pick up the responsibility of Hindu grand narrative, everything I see looks like a solution for that one issue. The moment I read this verse, it feels like a solution. When you have solved everything inside, you will go on finding solutions. When you have not solved inside, you will go on finding problems. You will go on finding problems. One of the most important point, sacred secret from this verse, you do not need to make a choice between root and wing. The original, pure science and applied science. Pure science is Upanishads. Applied science is Agama. Experiential laboratory is Nityananda Sangha. Pure science, the Upanishads. applied science, the agamas. The essence master key shared in this verse is Sohamasmi Yosavasau Purushas Sohamasmi Tejo Yatte Rubangalyanadamandatte Vashyami Yosavasau Purushas Sohamasmi. Even when I am relating with you, I am you. I may be having love towards you, I may be praying to you, sometime I may have even incompletion with you, I may even be fighting with you, I may even be negotiating with you, I may even be bargaining with you, I may even be getting trained by you, whatever may be, I just know I am you. Sohamasmi. Understand, this is the most important breakthrough the Hindu tradition can give it to the world. Please understand, all different religious traditional masters, gurus have experienced different states of consciousness. Dvaita, experiencing the duality. Visishtadvaita, experiencing a commonality, an underlying connection with everything. Advaita, experiencing oneness. But unfortunately, many of these different tradition gurus, masters, saints, sages, when they were experiencing duality, they deny the existence and possibility of oneness. When they experience Dvaita, they can't believe Visishtadvaita exists. When they go through the Visishtadvaita, they don't believe Advaita is possible. When they go through the Advaita, they don't think Dvaita was reality. See, the intoxication of oneness is such, you just forget there was a time duality was your reality. And during the space of duality, you can't even imagine the oneness can become reality. That is why prayer has become such a divisive technique in some of the religions, just to put you in depression. No, in some of the religions, prayer is used to create sick people so that they will have business. One fellow went round asking every house in a city, asking, do you want to hire me to clean your windows? Do you want to hire me to clean your windows? Nobody wanted him. Next day he got hold of a friend and told him, please make all the windows dirty. I'll give you $100. This fellow went and did. And then you know what would have happened. Third day when this fellow goes, he gets a job. In some of the religions, prayer is used as a method to create sick people, so they will have customers. Please understand. It's like an indirect understanding. What indirect? Nowadays, direct understanding between pharmaceutical industries and food industry. Food is the most abused drug in the modern society. It's like a secret understanding between food and pharmaceutical industries. Food industry sends you to pharmaceutical industry. Pharmaceutical industry is supported by food industry. That is why most of the time you will see same guy owning both the industry. Because through one he creates passions, through other he cures or maintains. If God is angry with you, he sends you to doctor. If doctor is angry with you, he sends you to God. Understand? If God is angry with you, he sends you to doctor. If doctor is angry with you, he sends you to God. Prayer is used as a technique in some of the religions to create mentally sick people so that they can have patience forever. This one verse will finish their business. This one verse, Tejo yadderu mangalyanadamam datte vashyami yosavasau purushas sohamasmi. Just this one verse. Even when I am praying to you, I am relating to you, you are me. Indeed, I am he. Sohamasmi. The word indeed means even while. Not that during the duality we are separate, during the non-duality we are one. During the Dvaita we are separate, during the oneness only we are one. No. Even while I am bending in front of you, standing in front of you, bowing down to you, praying to you. Prayer means what? Sometime asking, sometime bargaining, sometime negotiating, sometime even shouting, sometime fighting, sometime screaming. It is all based on your mood and how the other side responds, how you relate to him and how he relates to you. The Facebook I read these few lines. One fellow asked, why these Indian women have this big red dot on the face, forehead? The other person responds, it's a record symbol. All your conversations will be recorded for the future quality and training purpose. That's a record symbol, dot, red dot. So with your God also, you do all recording of all the prayers, everything. And sometimes it is asking, sometimes it is gratitude, sometimes it is love, sometimes it is just flirting, sometimes it is sweetly reminding, sometimes little nagging, sometimes real nagging, sometimes little fight, sometimes little louder fight. I have heard everything. That is why I am describing it in such varieties. Only if you have eaten, you can describe 200 types of food. I have eaten almost million variety prayer. With chili, without chili, with masala, without masala, with salt, without salt. Understand, whatever may be the mood, relationship you are experiencing now, actually for women, only once in 27 days they go through the mood swing. For men, once in every 27 hours. For a male body, once in every 27 hours. For female body, once in every 27 days. Man who needs alcohol and the women who have uterus related issues, both the bodies will go through mood swing. Man's body will go through once in 27 hours. The woman's body will go through once in 27 days. Mood swing. Based on your mood swing, it will be anywhere between love talk to loud talk. Read one more one-liner. My mother-in-law gives me sound advice. 99% sound, 1% advice. It can be anywhere between loud talk to loud talk. But I tell you, during the whole spectrum, whether it is loud talk or loud talk, a prayer or a nagging, sweet nagging, or tight nagging, hard fight, violence, whatever it may be, please understand, you are He. Sohamasmi. How many people even get physical with Atmamurtis? No, really, they beat. Don't think I'm. But when they hug also, they will hug Atmamurti only. You can't have two Swami, one for hugging, one for beating. Whether you hug or beat, whether it's a loud talk or loud talk, whether it is prayer or fight, Sohamasmi, I am He. Understand? This raises the very concept of prayer to the next level. I tell you, I wanted all our temples to have a beautiful prayer explanation. Put this verse and the translation and below the commentary. This is the Hindu way of prayer. Please understand. People should understand what is prayer as per Hinduism before entering and praying in all my temples. So in the entrance itself put it. Hindu prayer is separate. It is prarthana. Prarthana. Because even when you pray, you are He. He is you. If you have this understanding as an undercurrent, the very quality of your prayer will be totally different. You will just see your every prayer becomes reality just like that. Just like that it becomes reality. Just like that it becomes reality. Understand? Pushanega risheyama surya prajabatya vyuharasmin samuha tejo yatte rupam galyanadamam datte vashyami yo asavasau purusha sohamasmi. I think this verse is the grand narrative of Hinduism. At least this verse can give a beautiful, huge input to develop, reveal the grand narrative of Hinduism. We'll work on it. Essence of today's satsang. Even when you pray, you are He. Understand? That is why awakening your God particle is very important for any human being, because once the God particle is awakened, you know, even while you are praying, you are He. You just know. Please understand, whenever you pray, remember, you are not praying to the deity which is in front of you or Guru in front of you. You are praying to the source where that Guru and you become one, so which you don't know whether it is outside or inside. So remember, I am talking to you where you and me become one. I do not know that center is there or here, but I am praying to that center where you and me become one. Oh, that center, give me, this is what I want. When you stand in front of God or Guru, deity or Guru, just remember this one. I am praying to the source where you and me are one and the same. Oh, the source, please open up, awaken in me, and make this space into reality, so that you know forever. Sohamasmi. Mahadeva teaches to Subramanya Sarvajnanotrahama. Why it is called Sarvajnanotrahama? Please understand. The Mahadeva's seat is called Sarvajnapita. So, essence of everything he taught through the 5 phases. Satyojadam, Datpurusham, Vamadevam, Ahoram, Ishanam. Through all the 5 phases. Through 4 phases, he revealed 4 Vedas. Through the 5th phase, all the Agamas. The essence of all that is Sarvajnanotrahama. The essence of that Sarvajnanotrahama is reminding Subramanya the experience of Shivoham. Once Subramanya experiences that, he was made to sit in that seat of Sarvajnapita. That is why that Agama is called Sarvajnanotrahama. And after teaching Subramanya, please understand, when you learn from the teacher, 1 quarter you learn. When you discuss among the friends, you learn the next 25%. When you ask him questions and get clarified, you learn the next 25%. Only when you start teaching, you learn the last 25%. So, first, all the 3, 25, 20, 75% is done. Mahadeva taught to Subramanya, 25%. Subramanya discussed with his friends, 25%. Subramanya asked questions from Mahadeva and learned 25%. Now Subramanya has to teach and learn the last 25%. He says, don't waste time in finding a student. Come on, sit. I will listen. I will learn from you and get that next 25% also. That is why in Swami Malai, Bhagavan becomes disciple. Sadashiva becomes a student, and Subramanya learns to teach and gets that last 25%, becomes perfect Jnana Skanda Gurunathan. He sat in the Sarvajnapita. He made Subramanya to sit in the Sarvajnapita. Now he decided Teacher Mahadeva, student Mahadeva, student Subramanya, teacher Subramanya, all the four to assume one body and fill the same Sarvanya Pita. Teacher Mahadeva, student Mahadeva, student Subramanya, and teacher Subramanya. Beautifully, the Agama describes, it seems Mahadeva had Subramanya on his right shoulder. So Subramanya was teaching. Suddenly he moved him to the left shoulder. Subramanya asked, "Why? Am I heavy?" He said, "No, I want your mother also to listen to you." Because this side belongs to her. I want your mother to know how beautifully you are teaching. I heard enough. Now I want your mother to know how beautifully you are teaching. Because the left belongs to her, Devi. He moved him to the left shoulder. That's the way he made Subramanya as perfect master. In that Sarvajnanotragama, he beautifully describes Subramanya not only after the experience, even before starting the practice. You are me, I am you. And he uses the word. If somebody believes at one time there will be duality and the other time there will be oneness, they are fools and they will never reach the oneness. Only who understands, even while you practice, oneness is the reality. It may not have become reality for you, but that is the reality. Only those people achieve oneness, experience oneness. Understand, yoga meditation reduces 43% of medical expenses. The recent Harvard University's research. I tell you, realizing the truth, all diseases are hoax, reduces 90% of medical expenses. HOAX. H for hero. I thought of spelling it out once more. Anyhow, Mahadeva perfects Subramanya as the master, not only by teaching, making him talk, and by listening, by becoming his own student. So in this whole training process, the essence of what he taught in Sarvajnanotragama, even when you have not experienced, the truth is the truth is the truth, that is Shivoham. Sohamasmi. Essence of today's satsang. Even when you experience duality, the truth is oneness. The reality is oneness. With this, I'll move to the next segment of the evening satsang, Nitya satsang. Ramanujam, Nityananda Palace, Melbourne Adinam. Birthday blessings. With all the auspiciousness, you will be with me, I will be with you. Blessings. Be blissful. Kuala Lumpur Adinam. Blessings for Thaipusam. My blessings, your plan for Annadana, everything will go successfully. It will happen beautifully. You will enrich a lot of people. Have at least 10-20 people doing third eye demos there. Even call Nitya Devi, let her also come and do third eye demo there. and have Rathotsavam. My blessings for all the plans. Don't worry, there won't be any terrorist attack. I'll take care. Subramanya is protecting. So Subramanya is there. He will take care. Don't worry about any terrorist attack. There won't be any terrorist attack. And blessings to all of you. The whole Thaipusam program will be successful. Go ahead. All of you use this Thaipusam to learn micromanagement. Understand? God is in details. God is micromanager. Plan from the pamphlets, everything, and have stalls properly and organize everything properly and do it. My blessings. It will happen beautifully. My blessings. Blessings for Kuala Lumpur Adhinam's plan for Thaipusam. So, with this, I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Shaivam, the eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nityananda Dhyana Peetham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org. www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.